Well, just as we catch our breaths from Wembley Stadium, Riyadh season is back. We go again. This time, Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol fight week has well and truly begun. You're not going to want to miss this. We are live at the Cube here in Riyadh, just around the corner from the Kingdom Arena, where on Saturday night, two kings collide in the kingdom, and we will decide who the king of the light heavyweight division is. Two very cold characters, and I'm delighted to be in the company of some very cold characters. Mr. Eddie Hearn, Mr. Andy Clarke. They're cold, and Matt Macklin.
That's cold, look at that.
That is pretty cold, to be fair.
Freezing.
Yeah, but you've worn that one before, Andy, to be fair.
It's a scandalous rumour you're putting around. I haven't actually. This is the new one.
Fiercely denying it. Matt, how are you?
Good, mate.
Good to see you. Right, Eddie, let's get into this. Big fight, probably the best fight that can be made in boxing. Beterbiev, Bivol. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the best way to describe this fight, Beterbiev is like a ticking time bomb, right? And you've got to slow the clock down before it reaches the moment when you're done. And Bivol is one of the few people that I think can slow that clock down and maybe even outlast the clock. You know, he walks you down, he cuts off the ring so well, and he's so much better than just this big punching, aggressive fighter. He's smart, his footwork's actually underrated, his shot selection's very, very good as well. And he just continuously puts the pressure on. The only person that can beat Artur Beterbiev in boxing, certainly around his weight class, is Dmitry Bivol. Can he do it on Saturday night? He's got to slow that clock down, outbox him, get his respect, and a tough task, but I believe he can do it.
It is a tough task. Andy Clarke, let me bring you in here. Stylistically, it's just perfect. Do you agree with Eddie in that the only style and perhaps the only man out there at this weight who can beat Artur Beterbiev is Dmitry Bivol?
I do agree with that because technically he's very, very good. He's got a really good temperament. He knows how to navigate his way through a fight, and the big occasion doesn't scare him because you look at the way Canelo boxes or the way that he has done in the last 3 or 4 years. It's a similar kind of pressure he looks to bring to the pressure that Beterbiev brings. Not many people can exert that level on a fighter, and Bivol was able to handle it. He was unflappable in the face of it. A big moment for me will still be to see what Bivol's reaction is when Beterbiev lands on him in the first round, because he has got this ridiculous power that it's possible Bivol hasn't really felt before. And it could be something a little bit new. I'm not going to say it'll cause him to panic because I just cannot imagine that happening, but it might be something a little bit new for him as an experience. But he's got the tools. He definitely has the tools, and that's what makes it so interesting. These two are just, they are the epitome of prize fighters, of professional boxers. There's no malice towards opponents, there's no malice towards each other, but there's no mercy, none at all, and that's what we'll see on Saturday. I can't wait.
Matt, let's get your early kind of fight week talks. It's grand arrivals today. All of the fighters are going to take to the purple carpet very shortly, but the Beterbiev-Bivol fight week early thoughts from Matt Macklin, please.
A bit like what Eddie said, I think Beterbiev is obviously billed as the beast, the puncher, which he is obviously, but he's way more than that. A bit like Golovkin was, you know, excellent at cutting off the ring, making you feel under pressure, but he's not so close where you can get in and grab him and spoil and nullify. He keeps that perfect distance where you're constantly under threat, and he's just he's never off balance. And even though he's 39, you know, in his last performance, he looked devastating. You know what I mean? You do wonder how long can they keep going, but he hasn't shown much signs of slowing up just yet. So I think that experience, even everything he achieved in the amateurs, you wouldn't achieve what he achieved without being technically and tactically very astute. So I make him a favourite, but Bivol, to me, is someone that boxes to the level of his opposition. You know what I mean? When he needs to raise it, he does. So that'll be fascinating to see him at the top of his game.
It feels like for the last few fights with Beterbiev, we've been collectively waiting for him to get old overnight. Anthony Odd hoped, Callum Smith, I'm sure, hoped. I'm sure Callum Johnson a few years ago was probably hoping as well. He doesn't seem to actually get old though, Eddie.
No, I actually really fancied our chances in the Callum Smith fight because for a lot of those reasons, you know, he's been a little bit stop-start. He's had his injuries. Don't forget here, coming off knee surgery as well. Bivol's had the benefit of that interim fight as well, so he's definitely got the momentum. But in that Callum Smith fight, it was scary, you know. It was like I actually expected a guy that might just be coming towards the end, Yard took a little bit out of him, was getting hit a lot in that fight, and then all of a sudden back home performed a lot better. Interesting to see how he fights out here. Those home comforts back in Quebec and Canada, this is a fight on the road.
Yeah.
Bivol's got the experience of 2 fights in the Kingdom before. It's not really something that's been talked about a lot. I'm not saying it's going to throw him off, but he is travelling, he is on the road, he is getting on, he has had knee surgery. We're going to clutch a few more straws out here tonight and pray, but Bivol is the guy to beat him. This is a genuine 50-50 fight, and I think the first few rounds of this fight are going to be really important because, like Andy says, if in the opening 1, 2, 3 rounds he gets caught, he gets marked up, he goes back to the corner, then you're thinking there's a long way to go. What you actually want is to get through 6, 7, 8 rounds and be 5-1 up, 6-2 up after 8, and not hold on, but think we've got 4 rounds here. And that's what happened. If you look
See
back
the light at the end of the
if you
tunnel.
look back at the Godzic fight, although he was winning that fight, it was quite close, and he was he nearly survived, and then just at the death he got taken out. And it's I thought that Beterbiev doesn't do too much early, even against Callum Smith. Just taking his time. He was still winning rounds, but it wasn't he just comes out swinging away. It's pressure, pressure, pressure. But I think Dmitry has the punch volume to win those early rounds. You've got to rack them up, and then you've got to hold on for dear life.
2 cold characters as well, Andy. They've got that same sort of Andy Clarke aura, dare I say. They've got that same aura.
Very similar, actually, I think.
But Beterbiev in particular, how do you think he's going to take to this? Because he's not flashy. He doesn't wear all chains and all that kind of thing. Bivol doesn't either, but he doesn't sort of want to be a superstar. This is superstar stuff here. What do we think?
I think he'll enjoy the surroundings, he'll take it in, but ultimately he's not interested in any of this. I don't think either of them are. We were talking to Bivol yesterday, and I just asked him, do you believe in luck? Elite level sport is such a high standard that people sometimes think that they'll think luck is for losers, but they all do believe in it, because a fight like this, you don't see any discernible weakness in your opponent, you suspect they don't see any in you, and whoever does it marginally better on the night, it could well be, will emerge the winner. And you don't really have all that much control over it to an extent. So I think the pair of them, as much as anybody I've probably ever met, they just know exactly what this is, the business that they're in. And they just can't wait for Saturday. I don't think either's really got any problem with the weight. Dimitri's kind of always made it pretty easy, hasn't he?
I think
Beterbiev has
Dimitri's
been
a guy that
light heavy for 10 years.
He says he can make 168. I looked at Beterbiev at the pictures yesterday. I know it won't take too much, but he wasn't overly keen to get down to his shorts. I thought he looked a little bit depleted. Don't get me wrong, an absolute monster still. But at 5 days out, Dimitri's definitely the one that's more comfortable at the weight. Beterbiev's talking about that move to cruiserweight. He's been at light heavyweight for a long, long time.
Heavyweight as an amateur.
Yeah. So for me, there's a guy that's going to be much tighter at the weight. I don't think it's going to have a massive difference, but I like the fact that Dmitry is so good at the weight because he's going to need that engine, and he's going to have to throw a lot of punches in there to keep him off. Can he hurt Beterbiev? For me, Bivol hasn't looked like the biggest puncher, even against, I know he stopped Zinad, dropped Arthur, but for me, it's about volume and it's about feet, and very difficult to do. So many fighters with great feet and great movement, everyone just says, you just got to walk them down. Just when you get up close, let them go. It's not as easy as that, especially against someone with the ability of Bivol. But as you said, Beterbiev is more than that. And he's got a lot more ability than people sometimes think as well.
But also, some people think it's tiring pushing someone back, making them move the ring. And it is, if you're doing it through urgency and under pressure. But if you're constantly having to turn and reset, that's tiring too, especially when you've got 39-year-old legs.
But Beterbiev certainly got the ability. You don't not have ability and beat Usyk in the amateurs. He's one of the few people that beat Usyk, so he can certainly box as well. So any talk about this being boxer versus puncher, are these talks premature? What do we think?
Yeah, I think so. I just think it's quite a basic, reductive sort of analysis to say that, because, like Matt said, you look at what he achieved as an amateur and you look at the way he fights, and his feet are always underneath him. He's never in a rush. He never overreaches. He very rarely loses his balance. He turns at the waist. He's got immaculate boxing mechanics and heavy hands. and he lands on you. It might not be clean all the time. It might be half clean. It might be a shoulder, a bicep, a forearm, whatever it is. But you feel it. You feel it, and he'll make you feel it early. He won't come racing out, like Eddie said, throwing blizzards of punches, but he will land on you soon enough. And if you're Bivol, to be honest with you, that's not necessarily the worst thing. You probably want to feel it early and see what it's like, and maybe
do you reckon he wants to feel it early from Beterbiev?
You said this to me before, Matt, where when you're going with someone who's a renowned big puncher, you kind of almost want that first exchange out of the way, just to think, what am I actually dealing with here? Is this power what everybody says it is? And okay, if it does take you a bit by surprise, you've got to just make sure you get a grip on yourself. But 2 or 3 rounds in, you can get used to it.
Usually when you're boxing a big puncher and that happens, in my experience, and it was always a case of, oh, that ain't that bad, I was expecting worse, because you're so mentally prepared for it. It's usually less than what you've built up in your mind, and it was actually the guys who you think can't punch that actually sting you with a shot because you were underestimating their power. So I think these two will probably get it about right with each other. I don't think there'll be no one underestimating the other guy. But I think the other thing worth noting about Beterbiev, what's so good about him as well, he's got that patience. That patience that big punchers have got. They know they only need one. Like Eddie said, he tucks up. He's bagging early rounds by doing very little, conserving, because he knows he's going to step on the gas as he breaks you down later on in the stretch.
I feel like when Callum Smith boxed him, he was doing very little, but he was still winning the rounds because you're afraid to let your hands go because you don't want him to counter. So at the same time, you're like, you have to be active, but you know that when you're active, because I think he won't be fearful of Bivol's power, is he happy to trade? You see that quite a lot with Beterbiev. People start throwing and he throws with you. So every time Callum was throwing, he was throwing with him as well. And obviously Callum would always come off worse. But the problem is he was doing very little against Callum, but he was still 4-5-0 up after 5. The difference here is Dmitry must bank these early rounds. If he can't have a lead at halfway, then you're in trouble in this fight, because you know he's going to come on like a train. And it would just be interesting to see the pace that Beterbiev fights at early. Does he mind giving up the first 3 or 4 rounds? Or does he want to start fast, put that dent in him, slow his legs down and catch him on the straight?
The characters. You've sat at a couple of the press conferences. They're not saying an awful lot to each other, but it does feel to me like Beterbiev said a couple of things, just throwing a couple of things out there, but Bivol's not nibbling. At the launch press conference, he said something like, he knows, ask him. When they did a face-off at Fury and Ngannou around the media, he said, Bivol always talks about he wants to fight, but he never fights. Bivol never bites. He's never said anything. What are you making of the kind of verbals or lack of verbals between them?
Yeah, at the first presser, Beterbiev said about 3 words, and it was like, I actually said, sure you'll bring it up this week. I found it quite arrogant, because you're flying him over and his team. You've got, I think it was you or Addy asked him the question, and he just went, good. And it's like, hang on a minute, you're getting paid an absolute fortune. You've got the entire world media here. You owe us a little bit more than that. He couldn't care less. And in a way, I respect it, but in a way, I think it's a little bit disrespectful. I'm not expecting him to come and start rolling around with Bivol here tonight, but you are a monster. You've got your role to play in this fight. You're receiving a huge amount of money. Let's play the game a little bit. But when you actually get into Beterbiev and break him down a little bit in the interviews, he is actually quite funny. And he's got this very cold, dry sense of humour that actually does come out, and he should show that a little bit more, because I actually think he's quite a funny guy. But he's not interested, and that's actually why both of these guys, maybe their profile isn't what it should or could be given their ability in the ring, but they're just searching for greatness, and that's actually all that matters to them. And it is a little bit refreshing in some sense, but in answer to your question, don't say that at the presser in front of Artur Beterbiev. Just
about the you called him arrogant.
Yeah.
Eddie, you called him arrogant.
I'd say absolutely never said it in my life. I don't know what you're talking about.
Eddie, thank you. We're going to let you go for now. I'm sure we'll speak to you multiple times this week. And if you just please leave and go and call Beterbiev arrogant again. Cheers, gentlemen, such a good card as well. We've spoken a little bit about Beterbiev, Bivol. Andy, for you, what's the pick of the undercard?
I think it's a rematch at heavyweight between Fabio Wardley and Frazer Clarke, just because of how good the first fight was and how much people wanted to see a second one. It seemed almost certain as soon as the draw was announced at the O2 back at the end of March that we would see it again, because you knew that for the pair of them, what else were they really going to do? Given what they're like as men, that they would want to do it again. And they're kind of an odd couple, but as a couple they work.
It gels, doesn't it?
It does, inside and outside the ring.
Yeah.
Fabio he's got some game when it comes to fight week, when it comes to build-up. He's got this naturally patronising air about him, a bit like Eubank Jr., but kind of different. He's good fun to be around. He does it to kind of entertain himself. Frazer knows what Fabio's doing, but every now and again he can't help but bite. So as a pair, they're just kind of made for each other, and that's what you want during your career. You want these rivalries. And as for the fight, I do think we'll get something similar to the first fight. I think they'll both be capable of making adjustments, but ultimately it's going to be tight, and it'll be decided in the later rounds. I think we might go the distance again, which for a heavyweight fight is really unusual.
Yeah, it could be another thriller, Matt. Do you agree about the kind of chemistry that Clarke and Wardley have in the ring, outside the ring? It's been very entertaining.
Definitely. In terms of in the ring, the styles just gel nicely. I think it probably will go 12 rounds. I think Wardley's the bigger puncher, but I think Frazer showed he's tough and can pace the 12 rounds good, and I would put money on it going the distance, and it'd be really, really close and competitive again, because I just think they're well matched. In terms of outside of the ring, when it comes to the banter, I think Wardley's always going to win that one. He's got that sort of cheeky, condescending, patronising arrogance, but with a smile on his face, like, it's not distasteful. You kind of laugh at it, but he just makes sure he tries to put him down. Just get down there, son. Just get down there. So it's quite entertaining to see the two of them at it.
I think even Frazer Clarke accepts that he's not going to outwit Fabio Wardley outside the ring. He laughs at some of the stuff he said. I put it to Frazer. I said, "Okay, Fabio says that you're 56 years old and you're never going to win a world title," and he's just sitting there laughing. You can't help it.
You think that they'll both be slightly different? I think Frazer will look to throw the jab more, try and keep things a bit tighter, a bit more compact, use those really good fundamentals that he's got. But I think also what's important for him, he needs to have worked out a way, I think, of predicting when Wardley's going to throw these strange looping wide shots before they arrive on his radar, because they're the kind of punches, Matt, aren't they, where they wing in from wide, he'll scoop up an uppercut screw shot from down by his toes, he'll arc in an overhand from somewhere, off to the side of the ring, and they burst into your field of vision late, so they're hard to pick up, and you're not always braced for them, and that can be a problem. But if he can look at him after those 12 rounds and feel like he can pick up on the turn of the hips or the shoulders and kind of know that something like that's on the way, then he's got a really good chance, because a short, crisper punch from Frazer Clarke is going to land sooner than one of those shots from Fabio Wardley. That's just geometry.
Yeah, and I think Frazer conserved his energy better. I think he held his shape better. I think Wardley, the bigger puncher, probably wasted energy early on, loading up with big shots. Yeah, he did hurt Frazer, and it was exciting, and he probably won rounds because of it. But I think he blew up a little bit sooner than Frazer, and he got ragged and lost his shape in the later rounds, and that Frazer was able to just be tidier and pick him off a little bit. But I think they'll both be better. I think they'll both be better. I think they'll be better quality. I think it'll be the same intensity, maybe even bigger, better again. But I think in terms of both guys will have their work will be tidier, sharper, and better quality.
And I think one thing, I think the change that Fabio will make, and he's absolutely capable of doing it, is that he'll mix up that unorthodox punching, which he absolutely must keep, with a higher percentage of more orthodox punching, which he's good at. You know, he knocked Frazer down with just a lovely crisp 1-2. He's got a good jab which he flicks up from the waist when he uses it, and that'll give him more economy and help him conserve that energy down the stretch. So I think they'll both do what they need to do to improve, but the improvements will almost cancel each other out, and we'll end up back where we were. I hope so.
So round 13 rather than round 1 of a new fight, they're just going to crack on, you think? Both be a little bit better?
Yeah, well, when they're fresh, I think it'll take a little bit of while, mate, a little while possibly, just to warm up a bit, because no one's going to want to be gung-ho here. They know each other too well, and they've got too much respect for each other to make any mistakes early, because at heavyweight particularly, if you make a mistake early, it can be over before it's even started. You know, and that's just something that it's very, very difficult to live with. So I think they'll be a little bit coy maybe for a couple of rounds, and then they'll get stuck in.
Plenty of world title action as well, and a bit of history as well, Matt, with Sky Nicholson defending her WBC World Featherweight title against Raven Chapman. First world title fight, female world title fight in Saudi Arabia. First female fight of Riyadh season.
Yeah, and what a good fight it is as well. You know, Sky Nicholson really sort of talking herself up, saying she's the future undisputed, so she's not putting any pressure on herself.
Would that wind you up? If your opponent got announced to the ring as future undisputed, are you going to be like, hold on, what about me? You've got to fight me first.
Yeah, of course. You think, well, I've got something to say about that.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually,
yeah,
but not just yet.
It's quite something. Andy, we were talking earlier about Sky's confidence, because her confidence is sky high, if you pardon the pun. She is really talking herself up. She believes she'll be one of the greatest female fighters of all time, and she doesn't really think that Raven Chapman's going to land a punch. I love the confidence, by the way. I think all fighters should have that confidence. What do you make of this?
I'm kind of fascinated by it, to be honest, because it seems to me to be quite a recent thing that she's really coming out and saying it. She's probably always believed it if you speak to people close to her, but it was at the Lord's press conference 2 weeks ago that she walked up to our great pal Thomas Treiber and said, can you please introduce me as future undisputed? And Thomas said to me, Sky Nicholson's just said this to me, I can do that, can't I? And I said, it's a nickname, you know, you can make up your own nickname, it's by all means. And yeah, she said to you yesterday, I think I'm going to go down as one of the greatest female fighters of all time. She said that on a piece she did with Matchroom in the build-up too. So she's really set the bar high there, and I've not really heard her do it that publicly before. And she's looked good so far. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. She's looked good. I don't think she's performed to the level that will make people believe her necessarily. I think she's got a bit more to do yet, but she'll be aware of that. And Chapman doesn't believe it. She doesn't believe it. She doesn't think it's a real confidence. She says that she's seen her at ringside for fights in private, unguarded moments, and it's been a situation where she hasn't really wanted to make eye contact and hasn't had very much to say. So we'll see. We will see. That's the best thing, isn't it? You can say whatever you want, but then the bell will go and the talking stops.
I'm waiting for Raven Chapman to be announced as future defeater of Sky Nicholson. Chapman! So that's probably what I'd do if I was Raven Chapman. But her style, she thinks, is a nightmare for Sky Nicholson. I guess she's got that kind of style where she won't leave her alone, Matt.
No, on top of her, and Scott Nicholson wants to keep it long behind the jab, and she's got a good jab, and she likes to be loose and throw the right hook. So, yeah, I mean, the obvious tactics there is jump on her, don't let her breathe, force the pace, you know, don't let her, you know, take her out of her comfort zone.
She's got to show that aggression. I think we're also going to see plenty of aggression from Jack Massey, who gets his world title shot against Jai Opetaia. We know how Massey fights. We know Opetaia is either 1 or 2 cruiserweight in the world. I'm sure there's a gentleman in Bournemouth who has something to say about calling Jai Opetaia number 1. But it's quite the fight, actually, Andy. Jack Massey against Opetaia.
It's one of those fights where when it was made, you're just really pleased for Massey, because he wasn't that far away from quitting not that long ago, because things just weren't happening for him after he lost a close one to Richard Riakporhe for the British title. and that's a while ago now. It was kind of tumbleweed. There wasn't really that much going on. He did chalk up some good wins, but he just kind of disappeared from view. Then he took the fight against Joseph Parker, which was an incredibly bold move. I mean, I was worried for him that night that he was going to get hurt, because he was going in with a top 10 heavyweight, making his cruiserweight debut against a top 10 heavyweight. And you look down boxing history, nobody did that. Holyfield didn't do that. David Haye didn't do that. Usyk didn't do that. Jack Massey did it, and I just looked at him and thought this could go badly wrong. But he won some rounds, did the 10, and that, I think, is going to stand him in really good stead against Opetaia. It's a different dynamic, because against Parker, getting through was a win, and that was probably in his mind. Whereas for this one, I genuinely believe that they believe they can win, and there's a massive difference between the two mentalities.
Yeah, look, he lost that very close split decision to Riatpour. He beat Chamberlain. He's a tough kid, Massey. He's pretty basic. People say he's a meat and potato guy. He's an ABC guy. Chamberlain was trying to say when he was putting him down, and he was like, yeah, he is an ABC guy, but if you do ABC very, very well, it can take you a long way. And Opetaia, as good as he is, and he is good, I think some of the wins probably seemed better than they were at the time. Maybe the Jordan Henderson one, for example. What had he would, you know what I mean? Like, it was, oh, what a win, big knockout. Yeah, but Henderson hadn't really done anything at that point, and probably a bit out of his depth. So I think he hits hard, but you've got to also look at the Marius Bradis fight, and he did die the death there last few rounds. Bradis was the latter end of his career. He hadn't been active. Another couple of rounds. I know we only have 12 rounds, but he really came on strong, and Opetaia was fading badly. So I'm not going to say, I don't want to say he's overrated, but I think that the hype we're giving him so far is probably a little bit, hasn't been totally justified yet. And I think Massey is better than people think.
Well, on that point, say you take Bradis off of Opetaia's CV. How do the CVs then stack up? Because you could argue that the win over Chamberlain means more than the wins Opetaia has over Thompson and Zorro.
Thompson, not Henderson. Correction.
Jordan Henderson will be watching this somewhere thinking, hang on a second.
I'm fine.
He did come and play in Saudi briefly, didn't he, Jordan Henderson?
It's probably going to be there on Saturday.
It didn't last long. But
that's an easy one to get wrong.
It is an easy one to get wrong. I know what you're saying, but you just can't do that, because those wins against Bradis, particularly the first one, was so big. Bradis, at that point, he was the guy. He was the number one, and he went through hell with a double jaw break to win that fight. So I think it's right that people put Opetaia at number one in the division, because he beat the man, and Bradis at that point was the man. But it's not like he hasn't been chasing bigger fights than the ones he had before Bradis in the rematch, because he has been. They just didn't come about, and he took care of Thompson and Ellis Zorro in exactly the style that you would want him to. If he hadn't done that, then people would criticise him. But I think I agree with what Matt said there, in that, and this is not Opetaia's fault, and he hasn't encouraged this. Sometimes people kind of anoint someone quite quickly, and then something happens and you think, oh, actually, maybe not. Whereas the fighters, they don't really listen to that. They don't really get carried away with that. They know where they are. And the interesting thing with him, though, is that his dad's back leading the corner.
Yeah.
And the last time he did that was the fight before the first Bradis fight. I don't know what happened, but he disappeared from the corner. Mark Wilson, who trained Jai when he boxed for Australia, came in. He's now gone, and his dad Tapu is back. Father-son combinations can be quite volatile. They can be very, very successful. I think the signs are they're delighted to be back together, but it's a change, isn't it? And you look at the big performances, and they came with somebody else.
Well, father-son combination, I think, brings me on to Chris Eubank Jr.'s return. Of course, Senior was there early on in his career, not so much there now. Eubank stepped out of the shadow somewhat, made his own name, makes his Riyadh season debut. What do you make of this fight against Kamel Zerameta?
He's kind of a genius, Eubank, isn't he, in a way, because he loves the big stage, and he loves the biggest purse he can get, and you cannot blame him for that. This is prize fighting after all. And what's surprising with Eubank is that he's been on so many big stages. It should have coincided with more world title fights, really, but he's just had the one, and it didn't go his way. I think he's a good choice of opponent, Zerameta, because he's been in with Golovkin, he's been in with Munguia, didn't win those fights. and he's been kind of hanging on since then, maybe waiting for something like this. So Eubank needs to, it's just a must win. He has to win, ideally look good doing it. He's got another new trainer, he's with Jonathan Banks now, and I mean, what do you think about that? Because Eubank just, you can never say that any fighter doesn't need a trainer, but maybe he's got to a point in his career now where, yes, you always have to have someone leading the corner and telling you what to do in the gym, or trying to, but I'm not sure it makes too much difference who it is.
I think exactly, he is where he is now. He's not only the finished article, he's probably on the downslide in his career at the age and where he is. So as long as he trusts the person in the corner in between rounds, I think that's probably as good as he's going to get now, teaming up with a new trainer. I don't think a new trainer is going to implement anything new to him, his style or even his approach in the fight training. You know, one thing Eubank's always been, he's a hard trainer, an athlete, great engine, all those sort of things. So he knows what he's doing, he knows how to get himself ready. I think the most he's going to get from a new trainer is just trusting the guy in the corner in between rounds that can steer him, guide him through the fight.
Well, Eubank Szeremeta is a fight in the middleweight division. It feels like the star of the middleweight division in Riyadh's season has been Hamza Shiraz. Do you think there's any pressure on Eubank to just kind of make sure he puts on a show and say, "Oh, I'm the guy here. Don't worry about Hamza"? Do you think that's on his mind at all?
What a fight that'd be!
Oh, don't get me started, Matt.
Hopefully we get that next, assuming Eubank wins.
Well, Hamza's just been mandated for Janibek, hasn't he, for the IBF and the WBO, so you could have a really interesting shift around there where Eubanks looked at Hamza and thought, what, you've not done enough. And then if Hamza manages to beat Janibek and become a two-belt world champion, he might look at Eubank and just think, well, what do you bring? it's interesting, isn't it? But I was really pleased to see that, by the way, because Shiraz has done what he's needed to do to earn the shot, I think, and hopefully that gets made. But Eubank, yeah, I think he needs to win, and he needs to look good too. Winning is always the first thing. It's the first and foremost thing. A defeat would be an absolute disaster for him, and I can't see it happening. But he does. I think he does need to turn it on a bit.
Yeah, and a man who I'm expecting to turn it on is Ben Whittaker. This is, Riyadh's season has come calling for Benzo, or the surgeon, I think he's calling himself as well. He's got his toughest fight of his career, though, in Liam Cameron. So he hasn't got a gimme. He hasn't got a welcome to Riyadh kind of fight. He's got a guy who's going to come to fight.
He has, and I think that's a good thing, because we thought that might happen in his last fight, didn't we, Matt, against Aronika, because Aronika was gung-ho in the build-up, the way he got the fight. He made a lot of noise, and I thought that he was going to come at Whittaker, and that would have played into Whittaker's hands and would have been good for him, for us, for kind of all of us. But Aronika didn't do that on the night. He was quite cautious. He threw the odd combination, but he was very well conditioned and quite defensive. And if you're in with any fighter who's in that kind of condition and with that mentality, they're going to be braced for almost everything you throw. So it makes taking them out kind of impossible almost. So he got the 10 rounds in, but Cameron will come at him, and that will be a good thing.
What was you going to say, Matt?
I was just going to say, people like Aronika, it's very difficult to look good against those guys, because they're pretty tough, they're fit, they're in good condition. They'd like to win, but they're not bothered if they don't. You know what I mean? So they're going to try and ambush you once or twice a round, have a little 10-second burst, have a go, but then they'll just survive, get through the round. So Ben's Ben can't do that. He has to win the round, he has to lead off, he has to initiate attacks, and then he's got to sort of be ready for when he tries to ambush him. And the casual fan watching him doesn't understand what's going on in the ring, and they think, oh, he did all right with him, didn't he? Maybe Ben Whittaker isn't as good as that. And it's like, nah, he is. It's impossible to look good against those type of opponents. Now against Cameron, it'll be different. He's boxing a seasoned guy. Big will fight.
Well, let's head over to Thomas Triver for the grand arrivals.
Crown Showdown, a great night of World Championship boxing to be held this Saturday, October 12th, from the Kingdom Arena in beautiful Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We would first like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Turkey Al Sheikh. This great event is being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority GIA, with Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, Bob Arum for Top Rank Incorporated, Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, Gold Star Promotions, Boxer, World of Boxing, and Sella. At this time, we would like to thank our great sponsors: Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Suleiman El Habib Medical Group, Saudia Airlines, New Mubaba Development Company, and Lucid Motors. A big thanks to our great sponsors. This great event will be shown in the UK and worldwide on DAZN, in the UK on TNT Sports Box Office and Sky Sports Box Office, and in the United States, the main event exclusively shown on ESPN+. Let's now get the grand arrival started. Our first two fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 4-round international lightweight contest. First, coming to us from Sucre, Colombia. His professional record, 3 wins with 2 defeats. Here is Jesus Gonzalez.
Well, here comes Jesus Gonzalez. A huge opportunity for the lightweight. Takes on Mohamed Akalau on Saturday night. And I guess it's the case, Andy. You either thrive under this kind of pressure or you freeze under it.
I love watching fighters like this make this walk. I just wonder what is going through their mind, because I don't know how much notice he's had for this, but he couldn't have imagined that this would happen. He'll have been watching this as a fan, but never in a million years would you have thought that he would get the call, and all of a sudden here he is. It must be a surreal experience.
Well, he has certainly got the call. Let's hear from Jesus Gonzalez, who joins Olivia Bazagli.
Jesus, this is a massive step up for you. How are you feeling right now that you're here in Saudi Arabia?
Es una gran oportunidad para usted. ¿Cómo te siente aquí en Riyadh?
Me siento muy feliz, gracias a Dios pues, por la oportunidad. También agradezco a los promotores, a Arabia por abrirme sus puertas, y es una bendición enorme para mí estar acá.
It's a massive opportunity for me. I'm just so thankful to be here, and thank Saudi Arabia for giving me this opportunity on the weekend.
Are you excited to see what the next few days has in store for you?
Usted está dando para todos estos días la conferencia de prensa.
¿Cómo?
Es una para usted hacer toda esa ocasión con eso es bueno.
Claro, excelente para mí, es una... Wow, la verdad me siento contento.
Yeah, it's excellent for me. Wow, just look at this.
And just finally, Mohamed is obviously making his professional debut, so I suppose for you as his opponent, there's not really much to go on, is there?
Por Mohamed es la primera pelea, so no he conocido mucho sobre ello.
Yeah. Pues no, hasta el momento no conozco mucho a mi oponente, pero lo poco que he interactuado con él me ha parecido una excelente persona. No somos amigos, pero pues espero en un futuro establecer una buena amistad con él, y pues aparte de que sea mi oponente, aquí tiene un buen amigo.
I don't know a lot about him, but he seems to be a really nice guy, and maybe in the future we can get to know each other a bit better, and he seems like a good guy.
Thank you very much.
The translator there works for Queensbury. His name is Lou. He's in the Queensbury office and wears many hats. Let's head back to Thomas Tribe.
This Saturday, here is mighty Mohamed Alakel.
Well, here comes the debutant, born in Riyadh, trained by Joe Gallagher. A big moment in this young man's life, Matt.
Yeah, I've seen him training up there a few weeks ago. Joe was telling me, I think he had 6 amateur fights. Which surprised me because he looked like he'd had a lot more than that. You know, he's still pretty well schooled. And he's in a good gym up there with Joe. Lots of camaraderie, some good pros to learn from. So, yeah, be interested to see his debut.
It will be fascinating, of course, born in Riyadh and Saudi Arabia very much getting involved in this sport. It's wonderful to see. Let's hear from Mohammed Akalel, who joins Olivia.
Mohammed, I mean, you're here. Obviously, you're based out of Scotland, but this is your home country. Now that you are here, how are you feeling? Try and sum it up for me.
Yeah, I feel good. You know, all the hard work's been done. Now it's time to have fun and enjoy it. So yeah.
Do you feel like this is your moment? It's your professional debut, and it made sense for your professional debut to be here?
Exactly, representing my country and finding my country. Debuting. It means a lot. It means a lot.
I mean, you heard that some of the fans there making noise for you. Everyone in that arena on Saturday night is going to be behind you, aren't they?
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Our next two fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the IBF International Light Heavyweight Championship. Let's first welcome the challenger from Sheffield, England. His professional record, 23 wins, 6 defeats, 10 wins, coming by way of knockout. He is the former Commonwealth champion, Liam Cannonball Cameron.
Well, here comes the Cannonball, the man charged as the step-up in the career of Ben Whittaker. Just took Lyndon Arthur the distance, lost a split decision that many felt was a little bit harsh, Andy.
It was a good performance. It was good to see him get that opportunity, and it was good to see him put in the performance that he did, and off the back of that get another call, because he's been through it, Liam Cameron. He had a 4-year ban for recreational drug use, which seemed very draconian, but he had to serve it, and serve it he did. He suffered some real personal heartache during that period as well, so it's been tough for him, and he's come back to boxing. He had to lose an awful lot of weight to get back to fighting weight, and here he is.
Liam, we're here in Riyadh. Just try and tell me, how are you feeling in this moment right now?
I can't put it into words. It's unbelievable. It's a beautiful country, and I'm just gobsmacked. I'm here, and I'm going to make the most of it and get this win.
I mean, you've been on some journey. Can you believe you're almost stood here right now?
I can't, it's all God's work. Everything's God's work, and I believe I'm here for a reason.
Now, we mentioned Ben Whittaker. You know his style, his almost taunting style. You said that it gives him confidence, but it also gives you confidence as well, doesn't it?
I'm from Sheffield. I've seen it all before.
How's Saturday night going to go then?
I've got to win, no matter what.
Thank you very much, Liam.
And now let's welcome the defending champion from Darlaston, Staffordshire, England, a 2020 Olympic silver medalist, now undefeated as a professional with 8 wins. 5 of his 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the reigning and defending IBF International Light Heavyweight Champion, Ben the Surgeon Whittaker.
More concerned about the DJ, because I don't know what music he was playing when I was walking up here, so just make sure he sorts that out for Saudi.
Well, here comes the surgeon, who looks happier with the DJ selection this time. The liner at the top there was from the launch press conference, when his first answer was, I don't really care about what you've asked me, I'm not happy with the music. He's a character, he seems to ooze star quality, but this is an important fight, Andy.
Very. It's the platform that he's craved since he turned pro, that he feels that he belongs on, and the signs are that he does belong here. He's gone down this route at the start of the career where people have been talking about either you'll love him or you hate him. I think people will just grow to love him, to be honest, because he's entertaining company, the confidence is real, but he's not really an arrogant person, to be honest with you. And the skill level, the ability level is definitely there.
Well, let's hear from Ben Whittaker, who joins Olivia.
Here he is, Mr. Entertainer, coming out dancing. You've actually fought in Saudi before, haven't you? This isn't your first time.
Yes, my second time. It's an amazing reception out here. The people are lovely, nice weather. Can't ask for more.
Has it changed very much, or is it all the same?
It's all the same for me, but it's getting bigger and bigger. They're putting on great shows, great fights. I'm happy to be a part of it.
People talk about your style, I mean your taunting style. You're not going to change for anyone, are you?
Hey, There's many plans to my star. There's an A plan, B plan, C plan. But I'm just doing what I'm doing right now.
Is this the toughest test of your career so far, do you think?
I don't think so. We'll see Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Our next two fighters competing this Saturday in a Schedule 10 round contest. It will be for the Women's WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. Let's first welcome the challenger from High Wycombe, England. Undefeated with 9 wins, 2 of her 9 wins coming by way of knockout. She is the current Women's WBC International Featherweight Champion. Here is the Omen, Raven Chapman.
Well, here comes the Omen, the challenger Raven Chapman, who feels she's been ready for a world title challenge for a number of fights now. Finally gets her opportunity on Saturday night in a brilliant stylistic matchup against Sky Nicholson, Matt.
Yeah, exactly. You know, big opportunity for her. I think she feels that Sky Nicholson's overrated, overhyped, and I think she's going to really stick it on her.
Well, she is taking in every moment here, Raven Chapman. Let's hear what the Omen has to say to Olivia.
I mean, Raven, first of all, just great music choice. I wanted to dance along with that. You're here, you're making history, the first female fight on a Riyadh season card. You must be so proud.
Yeah, super proud. You know, I'm just trying to take it in at the moment, not think too much about it, but I think after the event and everything, it'll probably really hit me exactly what we've done here, making history. And yeah, it's a really, really humbling experience, and I'm just really thankful for Turkey for making it happen.
It's your first career title shot. I mean, is this your moment, do you feel?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like all roads have led to this. It's kind of what we've been working towards. It's what we've been wanting for a while now, and now it's here, and I'm going to go and grab it. I'm going to grab it with both hands.
I mean, and out of all of the fighters that have stepped on this stage so far, it does feel like the support is there for you.
Yeah, it's really great to hear. I've got a lot of supporters coming out here as well, and that's amazing. People that have followed my journey, been there from the very beginning, they know the struggles that I've been to get here, and they're with me all the way.
Thank you very much.
And now let's welcome the defending world champion, coming to us from Queensland, Australia. A 2020 Olympian, now undefeated as a professional with 11 wins, 1 win coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome the reigning and defending Women's WBC Featherweight Champion of the World, future undisputed Sky Nicholson.
I fly with the stars in the skies. I give no longer trying to survive.
Well, here comes Sky Nicholson, once again introduced by Thomas Treiber as future undisputed. Carries herself like a champion. She believes that she will be too much for Raven Chapman on Saturday night. It's a brilliant fight, Andy Clark.
It's a great fight. I don't think she's in any way underestimating Chapman. She'll know exactly what she is going to bring. People assume when you look like her, and it's the same with good-looking male fighters, that you don't really want to have a tough, hard fight, that you're not going to fancy it when it heads for the trenches. It's a lazy kind of stereotype because there's no evidence for that.
Tonight has been absolutely unbelievable. I was singing along with you as you were walking out. Sky, being here, making history, I just spoke to Raven about it. It must be a really special moment for you both.
Yeah, of course it is. We're making history. We're part of a really, really special and important movement. And I feel very humbled to be in this position. I feel like it's a very empowering position. I want to inspire the women and girls around the world, especially here in Saudi Arabia. And I have the chance to do that this week.
I mean, every time I see you, Sky, yesterday at the media day, today, you just do everything with the biggest smile on your face. You're going to enjoy this week, aren't you?
Of course. I love Fight Week. I feel like I was born for this. I was born for this stage. I was born for these events, and I'm living the dream.
second defence of that belt right there. Is it more pressure, more confidence, or both perhaps?
I feel like I'm getting better and better every time, so it's not pressure, but I feel very excited for the opportunity. I'm excited for the stage that I get to perform on, and I'm ready to put on a show.
Thank you so much.
Our next two fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 12-round contest. It will be for the IBF Cruiserweight Championship of the World. Let's first welcome the challenger coming to us from Manchester, England. He brings a professional record consisting of 22 wins, 2 defeats, with 12 of his 22 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the current EBU, European and Commonwealth Cruiserweight Champion, Jack Bruiser One Smack Massey.
Well, here comes Jack One Smack Massey, who jumped at the opportunity for a world title fight with Jai Opataya in Riyadh, coming off a brilliant win over Isaac Chamberlain, and has carried himself with a certain confidence this week, Matt.
Yeah, look, there's no pressure on him. All the pressure's on Opataya. Everyone's writing him off, really. But he believes in himself. His trainer believes in him. His team believes in him. They're over here. They're a little crew. You know what I mean? They got each other's backs to the end. You can see that. That siege mentality that Gallagher talks about. And we say there's power in that. You know, there's not just your belief. There's the collective belief of the team. And they 1,000,000% they're going to get the job done.
Well, let's hear from Jack One Smack Massey, who joins Olivia.
Jack, we're here for Grand Arrivals. I mean, how are you feeling standing on this stage looking out at everyone there?
Yeah, it's great. I'm extremely proud to be a part of Riyadh season, and you know, being looked after really, really well over here. And yeah, it's amazing, making my family proud, my friends and fans, and I'm going to make them even prouder when I bring that world title home on Saturday.
You've been on quite the journey to get here, haven't you?
I have, yes. It's been a long, tough journey, but you know, we're here now, and this is a massive, massive opportunity, and I'm going to take it with both hands.
You really feel you can cause Jai Opataya a lot of problems?
Absolutely, not just problems, beat him.
Perfect, thank you.
And now let's welcome the defending world champion coming to us from Gold Coast, Australia. A 2012 Olympian, now undefeated as a professional with 25 wins, 19 of his 25 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the current Ring Magazine champion and IBF Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Jai Opataya.
Well, he is seen by many as the best cruiserweight in the world today. He's a two-time IBF World Cruiserweight Champion, Ring Magazine Champion, and does well on Riyadh season events. He's got an intensity about him. Fans have really taken to Jai Opataya.
They have, and I think from all over the world they have. I think they like his kind of brooding intensity away from the ring too, because he is an intense dude, isn't he, Opataya? If you spend any time in his company, that kind of resonates. Sometimes when I feel that, I worry for a fighter a bit. I think it can drain the tank. It can be quite difficult to live your life like that in a sport that demands you try and take emotion out of it as much as you can, but he seems to thrive off it.
Jay, your last few fights have been in Saudi. You must be getting used to all of this now.
Yeah, I am, man. I love it. You know, it's like a second home now, so I'm excited to be back.
What's your favourite part about being here?
Just being a part of these Riyadh seasons, you know, they really raise the bar. This is like, you know, I feel like if you're not a part of the Riyadh seasons, you're missing out, so I'm honoured to be here.
The guys up on the stage have just called you the best cruiserweight in the world. Did you feel any pressure with that label?
Not at all, man. You know, we've always had pressure. We live under pressure. So, you know, the 12th of October, we just got to prove again that we're the best.
I know you have aims to be undisputed at this weight, perhaps even then move up, but all your focus, I assume now, is just on Jack Massey on Saturday night.
Exactly right. We're not looking past him. You know, we've got a job to do, and we're looking forward to getting it done.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, that was Jai Opataya. I'll tell you what, I liked Jack Massey's answer. Jack Massey was asked, do you think you're going to cause him problems? And he said, more than problems, I'm going to beat him. That was a good answer.
It was, and you want to hear people say things like that. You want them to pick somebody up on that when they kind of unconsciously, I think, there from Olivia suggest that maybe this is a tall order for you, and he was quick to do it and just say, no, I'm here to win. And I absolutely believe that. I spent quite a lot of my time during fight weeks trying to work out whether people really believe they can win or not, because everybody says they can. Sometimes you buy it and sometimes you don't. I buy it with them. I absolutely think they do believe that they can win. They're under no illusions. It's going to be hard, but they believe they can win.
Yeah, they know they're the underdog, and with that, you're in a nice position that the pressure's not on you; it's on the other guy. But he's not here to take part. He's here to win. You know, you can hear that in him. You can see it in him.
And Jai Opataya always gives a good interview, by the way, up there on the stage. I think he said, we live under pressure. I've heard him talk about things about, and you can see him now, he's loving it, but he talks about chasing pain in the gym. What a great thing to say, Matt.
No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain. Look, and I think he's putting himself through the pain. And Andy, you mentioned, like, is he putting too much into it? Is he exerting energy? I just think that's how he is.
It is. It absolutely is. It's a very individual thing. Some fighters thrive off chaos, don't they? They love a bit of chaos, and with the rest of us, we wouldn't be able to cope with it. But for them, it's just something they're used to. They're able to soak up. They're comfortable with it. You do what you're comfortable with, and what's comfortable for one person would be massively uncomfortable for another.
I'd say he's one of those people. I'd say he has to train so hard because he wouldn't be able to sleep at night. You know what I mean? He's an intense guy, isn't he? Even fight week last time, we're only a few days out from the fight, and most people were doing very little. Do you know what I mean? As little as possible. They just want to make weight, conserve energy. He had a good session on the pads in the gym. He was banging the pads. I was thinking he probably needs to exert that energy. He's that probably hyperactive of a person. He needs to get it off him. Do you know what I mean? But in the fight with Breedis, actually, one thing I picked up on was I thought he wasted a lot of energy in some of those rounds. You know what I mean? He was over-moving, output, winning the rounds bigger than he needed to. And that's something that he's got to learn from and pace it better, I feel.
Well, here is someone who's looking to win plenty of rounds on Saturday night,
Indeed.
Raven Chapman. Did you see all that? Your name was up in lights, your face was up there.
I'll have to watch it back on the playback because I was too invested in the audience that time and playing my air drums. Not that well, but I was doing it.
It looks like you've brought half of High Wycombe with you. There's some noise for you, Raven.
Yeah, it's great. I've got some really good supporters, people that will travel anywhere in the world to come and support me, and it's showing here tonight in Riyadh.
Andy, this is the fight right now for me in female boxing to make. Stylistically, it's just perfect. What are you thinking?
As I said earlier on, the closer we get to it, the more and more fascinated I get by it, because I do find it interesting, and we spoke to you about it yesterday, the tack that Skye Nicholson has taken fairly recently, I think, to really set that bar high in terms of the pronouncement she's made about what she expects to achieve in boxing. It's quite a bold thing to do, but I know that you don't buy it for 1 second, do you?
No, not really. I find it something to try and convince yourself of it. I'm super confident. I believe I could become future undisputed, but I don't need to tell everyone because I'm within myself enough to know I can achieve it and believe it. I don't need to convince anyone else because my boxing's going to do the talking.
So you're not going to change your nickname to Raven, I'm going to beat Skye Nicholson Chapman?
Well, you never know. There's still time, Deb. There's still a few days.
Matt, you mentioned how, like, if someone got announced as future undisputed and you're about to fight them, it probably winds you up a little bit.
Of course it would. What about me? Because without saying it, it means she's looking past you, looking past the challenge at hand. So I'd imagine that's put a...
If anything, I see it as a ridiculous thing to do, because if you're looking past your opponent, you're going to get unravelled, you're going to come undone. So if you're really going to look past me on fight night, boy, you're in for a big, big surprise.
How are you finding the week? This is by far the biggest stage of your career. This will be the biggest night of your career on Saturday. Are nerves starting to creep in? Does it feel different to other fight weeks?
I feel like I've been in and around it so much now, not just on the boxing side, but also doing this little bit of work and the commentary and that.
I'm more comfortable with the media stuff. It's just sort of part of it. What's different is obviously I'm in fight week now, so it's a bit more tiring. It's a different routine and stuff, so just taking it in my stride but enjoying it at the same time. And like I say, I've got a good team here. There's people here that are supporting me, so if I need anything or anything like that, they're here, they're backing me. I don't need to worry about a thing.
Well, Raven, you go and take it in your stride. Best of luck to you. We'll let you go. Thank you.
Cheers.
Raven Chapman, the Omen, the challenger on Saturday night, challenging at last for the WBC World Featherweight Championship against Sky Nicholson. And I think we're going to be joined very shortly by Sky Nicholson. So, brilliant fight, two brilliant fighters, two unbeaten fighters. And let's not forget, this is the first World Championship female fight in Saudi Arabia. And here comes Sky Nicholson. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. You look like you were having the time of your life up there,
I know,
Sky.
but I'm so scared and I'm faking all this confidence.
That's what she thinks, by the way. She thinks all of this isn't real, Sky. Is it real?
She'll see on Saturday night.
Andy, what are you thinking?
I find it really, really interesting, you know. It's quite a new thing, isn't it? I think. I mean, I'm sure you've always believed it yourself, but to go really public with it recently, the Future Undisputed thing, which I think you said to Thomas at the press conference, and talking about wanting to go down or believing you will go down as one of the greatest female fighters of all time, it's bold. You know, it puts some pressure on you. Is that part of the reason why you've done it? Do you like having that pressure on you?
Yeah, I think I thrive under pressure, to be honest. I feel like when situations are a higher pressure situation, I tend to be better. So maybe I do that, maybe not even realizing I do it to put more pressure on myself, but I do it, I say it because I truly believe it.
Stylistically, Sky, she's not going to leave you alone on Saturday. That will be very much her plan. Aggression, get on top of you. Are you ready for that kind of fight?
I'm ready for anything, absolutely anything. I think every opponent goes in with that same game plan, and it hasn't worked for anyone else, so I don't know what else to say to that.
One thing that always interests me as well, and this is equally true for male fighters who have a high technical skill level, good amateur background, and who are good looking, people assume that they're not going to like it when it gets tough. That when it goes to the trenches, they won't be able to cope. And you get tarred with that brush too, I think. Now, it's to your credit that your fights haven't gone there. Is there a bit of you that wants that to happen so you can show us all that you can do it?
People have been asking me that. I feel like I do want to be in fights where I have to bite down and fight, but I'm not going to force myself to be there if I don't have to. If I can win the way I win without being in a dogfight, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to give them an opportunity to prove to people I can fight as well. I know I can fight. My team knows I can fight. And if I have to fight, I'll fight. But if I can outbox them and make them look silly, why would I get involved? I'm staying pretty, I'm keeping my brain cells, and I'm putting money in the bank.
Tell us about the occasion. Yeah, I mean, that's everything. Matt, if you're a fighter, you want to do all of those things. Stay pretty, have the money in the bank.
Exactly. And be able to count the money at the end of the day as well.
Count it too.
Exactly, and save that fight for when you need that fight, because that day, you know, you keep winning, it probably will come. So you don't, you know, the longer you can hold that off, you know, the longer your career is going to be.
What about the history? Sky, you are making history on Saturday night. First female world title fight in Saudi Arabia. It's a lot.
It is a lot. I feel like it's a very empowering position. I feel like we have the opportunity to be on a world stage to inspire the next generation, to inspire young girls, women who are going to be here from Saudi Arabia in the crowd watching and thinking, wow, that could be me. And I feel like that's such a cool position to be in. Meeting young female fighters out here in Saudi Arabia over the last few days has, like, honestly been the most amazing feeling. It means more to me than these. And to know that I'm making a difference and making an impact in people's lives like that, I feel very humbled and very honoured to be in this position.
What's your perfect Saturday night?
And still, by any means necessary. I've had probably the best camp of my career. I feel like I'm boxing the best I've ever boxed in my life, and now it's just time to make it happen and put it all together on Saturday night.
I thought you were asking just in general there for a second, and the kind of the chatter just kind of, where's it gone, Dev?
Sky, we'll let you go. Thank you so much. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
Let's head over to Thomas Treiber.
Gentlemen, our grand arrivals continue here in beautiful Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Our next two fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 12-round contest. It will be for the vacant IBO Middleweight Championship of the World. Let's first welcome, coming to us from Białystok, Poland. He brings a professional record consisting of 25 wins, 2 defeats, 2 draws, with 8 wins coming by way of knockout. He is a former world title challenger. Here is Kamil Szeremeta.
Well, here comes Kamil Szeremeta, former 2-time world title challenger. The 2 blotches on his career are indeed those world title challenges. Gennady Golovkin and Jaime Munguia, back-to-back losses, but he's rebuilt a bit, he's rebooted, and he takes on Chris Eubank Jr. on Saturday.
He's got good credentials. You outlined them there. He's been a European champion. You know, that's a very, very solid belt to win. Matt's won that a couple of times. He's challenged for world titles against really good fighters as well. Not many people, even as he was getting a bit older, were queuing up around the block to fight Golovkin. But he did it. He went in there and he gave it a crack, and he will give himself a good chance. He is coming towards the end, though. I think that is fair to say.
Well, let's hear from Kamil Szeremeta, who joins Olivia.
Kamil, you're here in Saudi Arabia. How does it feel?
Bardzo się cieszę, jestem tutaj pierwszy raz. Mam nadzieję, że w sobotę dam się wszystko, wygram walkę i będę miał okazję tutaj jeszcze raz przyjechać.
I'm very happy I'm here. It's my first time. I hope I'm going to win on Saturday, and I will be able to come here again.
I mean, you're undefeated in your last 6 fights. You must be full of confidence coming into this.
Mój plan taktyczny jest wchodzę, robię robotę i schodzę jako zwycięzca.
My plan is simple. I want to go into the ring and go out as a winner.
How do you feel you can hurt Chris Eubank Jr.?
Once again, please.
How do you feel you can hurt Chris Eubank Jr.?
Wiesz, że możesz go uszkodzić. No.
Z trenerem mamy taktykę, nie chcę za dużo mówić, bo to jest bez sensu dużo mówić przed walką. W sobotę się przekonacie.
We got our own tactic with our trainer, and I'm going to show you on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Let's now welcome from Brighton, England. He brings a professional record of 33 wins, 3 defeats, with 24 of his 33 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former British champion and former IBO super middleweight world champion, Chris Eubank Jr.
Well, he is one of boxing's enigmas. Suddenly a conversation driver, and he makes his Riyadh season debut on Saturday night. It's been a year since we've seen him, coming off that win over Liam Smith, and he'll be looking to make a dent in this middleweight division.
He will, and a year's a long time when you're in your mid-30s. He's talked about that in the build-up. Contractual problems have kept him out, and it wasn't something that he wanted. And he wants to box on Saturday, box well, get some ring rust off. If that's really a thing with someone like him, because he always stays in shape, and then he wants a big one early next year. He wants to get back in the groove of fighting as regularly as he can, because he knows that, 34, 35 years of age, long spells out are not good.
Well, he needs to look good on Saturday night. Riyadh season has had a few upsets here and there. Chris Eubank Jr. will not be, or certainly not be wanting to be one of those upsets. Let's hear what he's got to say. He joins Olivia.
Chris, it's been a rather eventful few weeks, but now that you're here in Saudi Arabia, what are your thoughts? How are you feeling?
I mean, wow. The weather's perfect. The event is amazing.
So far, I've had a great time. I've only been out for a few days, but yeah, it's an incredible city, and I'm happy to be here.
It's a long-awaited return, 13 months out. How have you felt in those 13 months? What have you been doing?
Living life, becoming a better human being. But yeah, I missed my home. I missed my real life, which is the sport of boxing. And now we are back, and we're back in the biggest way. Riyadh season, Saudi Arabia. This is the new wave, and yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Obviously, Camille on Saturday night, all of this building towards another world title shot. Just how important, in terms of career, is Saturday night for you?
This is the most important fight of my career because, you know, a flat performance or, God forbid, a defeat means that I don't get all the mega fights that I've been hunting for and talking about for so long. So I have to go out there, I have to make a statement, I have to go out there and perform and take this guy out. You know, that is the mission at hand, and a few days left to go.
Thank you so much.
Our next two fighters competing this Saturday in a rematch. It is scheduled for 12 rounds. It will be for the British Commonwealth and WBA International Heavyweight Championships. Let's first welcome the challenger, hailing from Burton-on-Trent, Staffordshire, England. He was a 2020 Olympic bronze medalist and now is a professional, undefeated with 8 wins, 1 draw, 6 of his 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Frazer, the Eraser Clarke.
Well, here comes the man who was once upon a time known as Big Fraze. No more. He is Frazer the Eraser Clarke, and he'll be looking to erase this history with Fabio Wardley, put the rivalry to bed on Saturday night, but he needs to do more than he did in the first fight, Andy.
He does, they both do. I think he'll look at the first fight and he'll feel that he maybe lost his shape a bit towards the end, but that was due to fatigue, due to exhaustion. If he can hold that technique together, then he gives himself a better chance of winning the fight. But that's a lot easier said than done, because when you get into that kind of dogfight that he was in, keeping that form is a challenge, particularly that way.
It certainly is a challenge. He's taking in every moment up there. Let's hear what Frazer the Eraser has to say. He joins Olivia on the stage.
Frazer, you're here in Saudi Arabia. Just first of all, what are you making of all this?
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but I've been here before, you know, not fighting. But yeah, I'm glad to be here, enjoying every second of it, soaking it up, all building towards Saturday night.
You've said these moments, these occasions, these events are what you live for.
Of course, you know, this is, I'm living any boxer's dream, you know, right now to do this. I'm living my dream, so Saturday night, that's what it's all about, getting there, getting a result. But all these moments, you know, one day we'll look back because it'll be over before you know it.
I mean, there's so much respect between you and Fabio, contender for Fight of the Year. I mean, everyone here and everyone watching will be hoping for another contender of Fight of the Year. Are you going to give that to us again?
I think mine and Fabio's styles gel, and I think any time you see us in the ring, you're going to see fireworks. But of course, there's respect. You know, we had 12 brutal rounds. Like he said, round 13 Saturday night.
Thank you so much.
And now let's welcome the defending champion from Ipswich, England. Undefeated with 17 wins, 1 draw, 16 of his 17 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the reigning and defending British Commonwealth and WBA International Heavyweight Champion, Fabio Wardley.
Well, he is hard-hitting. He's one of the rising stars in the heavyweight division. He carries himself with a confidence. He's got a bit of an aura, Fabio Wardley, but it's a big, big fight on Saturday night.
Yeah, immediate rematches, especially ones like that end in a draw and so fiercely fought, are fascinating because both guys are going to look at their performance. They're going to look at things, mistakes they can't make again, look at things that worked well that maybe they want to definitely do again and maybe improve on as well. So, and you know, they're looking at themselves, they're looking at their opponent, its tactics, its game plan. It's fascinating, it really is.
Well, they both Frazer Clarke and Fabio Wardley have opted for the sunglasses at night. I thought they both looked pretty cool. Let's hear what Fabio Wardley, the reigning and defending British and Commonwealth champion, has to say ahead of this big rematch. He joins Olivia on the stage.
Fabio, you look happy, you look excited, you also look very chill and composed. How are you feeling being back in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, look, fantastic. I love boxing here. It's always a fantastic event, as you can see from the lights, camera, action. Saudi Arabia Riyadh season, they always know how to put on a really big show and make it a spectacle. So it's always an honour, it's always a privilege to be a part of these shows. So yeah, look, I'm happy to be here, happy to be a part of it, and looking forward to Saturday night.
I mean, talking of putting on a show and putting on a spectacle, that's exactly what you and Frazer did in that first fight. I mean, I've just asked Frazer, are we going to see more of the same? Because that's exactly what we want.
Look, I'm here to deliver. I'm here to deliver the fans. Like I say, I'm privileged enough to be on a big card like this. So look, we can't be on a massive card and under deliver. So I think at least for myself, I'm going to try and top that performance. I'm going to go all out. We're going to see an all-out war on that night again, and everyone's going to be in for a treat.
A different outcome, perhaps, though, this time around?
Definitely a different outcome. Definitely a different outcome. Look, a lot of the same action you saw, guts and glory, some war in there, but my hand getting raised at the end.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love that. I love that. He wants guts and glory, and he's promising a war there, is Fabio Wardley. If it's half as good, a quarter as good as the first fight, we're in for a treat, Andy.
We absolutely are. He's got some swagger, hasn't he, Fabio? He really has. And it's good to see, because this is show business with blood. You need to have that. You need to have that. You need to be able to sell a fight. You need to be able to talk the talk. And you need to be able to fight. And they both showed they can do it.
He has got a bit of swagger, hasn't he, Matt? There's a bit of swagger about Big Fabio.
Yeah, but not in a distasteful way, you know. He's got that little glint in the eye, you know, his cheeky smile, his tongue-in-cheek a little bit. But he believes in himself, and why wouldn't he? You know, with what he's achieved, and you come through the route he's come through, and to have the fight he had with Frazer, come away with a draw, you know, and he'll now think, well, you know what? I wasn't even that experienced. Now I've got the experience of that fight behind me. I'm going to be even better next time.
He's also got the experience of having boxed in a Riyadh season event before. He's used to the grand arrivals on the Tuesday, the workouts, etc. Because these are heavy fight weeks for a fighter. A lot of media to do. He's done it
massively. So I always say this to people: it's not just the fight. It's getting your head around being a part of these big events, because you've got to pace these events these weeks. You know, you don't want to use up all your energy in the first fight. You've got to pace it and know when to switch on and switch off.
Well, we are joined by his opponent, Mr. Big Fraze. How are you?
I'm good. This is a bit different, but this is what Riyadh season is all about.
You've been out here as a pundit, as a spectator, as a fan. You've enjoyed it every time. What's it like being here, taking it all in as a fighter?
This is what it's all about. All that stuff's fantastic and different element of my career, but this is what I live for. These moments, Saturday night. That's why I started boxing, to get to these heights, and now we're here. I'm going to make the most of it.
Tell me a little bit about the T-shirt. Good choice, but is there any thinking behind it?
Primark special. That's the God's honest truth. But yeah, no, listen. If I can be as destructive as this man Saturday night, we won't be doing much wrong, will we?
Well, Fabio Wardley is promising a war. He's saying it could be blood and guts, or it will be blood and guts. You're thinking the same kind of thing?
A clinical execution. That's what I'm going to say. In war, it's like, it could be 50-50. This is not going to be 50-50. Chess, not checkers.
So Frazer, I was watching the piece you did with Lennox Lewis earlier today. Just in case people don't know, Lennox came to the gym in Loughborough and you had a good conversation. You did some stuff for the cameras, but I'm sure plenty was said away from the cameras. Phenomenal fighter, Lennox. One of the things that he was saying to you that I found really interesting was he talked to you quite a lot about relaxation.
Yeah.
And about the need to try and find it in the ring to create that moment of maximum impact and then just kind of immediately let it go. Is that something particularly useful to you with regard to this rematch? Because stamina and the gas tank is going to be key, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, we spoke a lot about handling fight weeks, to be honest, and he said it's almost like, you know, when you go in front of the cameras, you know, we build fights, we put on a bravado as such, and then in between, you know, this is the only time you guys are going to see me today. After that, I'm very relaxed, I'm chilling, and it's sort of like the fight, you know, there's moments high intensity and there's moments where I'm going to be a bit more low intensity, and I've got to learn to, well, you do learn as you get more seasoned in the pros. There's a time, I heard Matt speaking about yesterday, there's a time to turn it on and there's a time to turn it off, and I think the important thing is picking those moments.
We were just saying beforehand, these fight weeks, you've got to pace them just like you've got to pace the 12-round fight.
You can easily get carried away with it, you know. It's as a boxing fan and a fighter, it's easy to get carried away with it, but this is where the team's so important, you know. I'm a nice guy, I'd speak to everyone if I could, but I told the team today, listen, as soon as you think I'm doing too much, get me out of there.
That's right.
Do you feel like you are just pulling back a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, this is why sometimes these longer fight weeks, they have their advantages. I'm going to try and get as much of it done at the beginning of the week, and then I can taper off towards the fight, sole focus towards Saturday night, executing my plan.
Tell me this, just I think we're going to ask you a few times this week. Right now, what is the perfect Saturday night for Frazer Clarke? How does this go?
It's a victory for Frazer Clarke, you know, getting in there and doing the things I've learnt in camp, working on the things I did well, doing the things I didn't do so well a lot better, and you know, like I say, like this game, it's not just the biggest, strongest man wins. You've got to be a thinking fighter as well, and I'd like to think I'm that. I've learned from my mistakes. Saturday night, I'll show everyone who the best is.
I think there was a key line you used earlier: chess, not checkers. That I think that gives us a bit of an insight there. You're thinking more about this one in there.
Absolutely, but don't get me wrong, I still can't wait to land hand on this guy.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Frazer Clarke. We are going to let you go. That's a huge fight on Saturday night, the big rematch. Fabio Wardley, Frazer Clarke. Well, it's an undisputed week, and we've got Thomas Streiber, who has some undisputed news.
Ladies and
To Thomas Treiber.
Let's welcome our main event participants. It's a battle of the undefeated this Saturday. They will be competing in a scheduled 12-round contest. It will be for the undisputed light heavyweight championships of the world. Let's first welcome undefeated with 23 wins. 12 of his 23 wins come by way of knockout. He is the reigning and defending WBA and IBO light heavyweight champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol.
He is cold, he is calm, but he is very, very good. Dmitry Bivol, unbeaten and a world champion since 2017, makes the walk as he heads into the biggest fight of his life on Saturday.
And it's a fight that he's been waiting for, that him and Beterbiev have both been waiting for. He beat Canelo and not got him huge attention, and correctly so, but this is the one. This is the one that he's always wanted.
Well, it's a four-crown showdown, and Dmitry Bivol is the unbeaten WBA champion. Artur Beterbiev brings the IBF, WBC and WBO to the table. Let's hear from Dmitry Bivol, who joins Olivia on the stage.
Dmitry, fighting to be the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. Have you been waiting your life for this moment?
Yeah, exactly. This is the fight, dream fight for all fighters, and I'm so lucky that I have this chance. And because a lot of great fighters, they couldn't get this chance, and I got it. I was waiting, I was working hard, and now just I need to work in the ring.
How long have these 4 months been? Because I was at your fight with Malik Zinad when he had to step in when this fight was meant to happen. Has it been a long 4 months? Has it felt long for you waiting for this fight?
Now I feel like it was just one moment. Yeah, it took a week.
No one can call this fight, Dmitry. Everyone's saying it's 50-50, but those that are saying you are saying it's your boxing brilliance.
I don't care about 50-50, 60-40. It's just some numbers. I'm just focused only on my task and the ring.
And what is going to happen in the ring on Saturday night, Dmitry?
Sorry?
What's going to happen in the ring on Saturday night?
We will see undisputed fight.
Are you not going to come away saying you're undisputed champion?
No, of course, people was waiting this fight many years, and two different styles, two undefeated boxers. It's I'm waiting to this great fight.
Thank you so much, Dmitry. Thank you.
And now let's welcome a 2012 Olympian, now undefeated as a professional with a perfect record. 20 wins, all 20 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the reigning and defending WBC, IBF, WBO, and Ring Magazine Unified Light Heavyweight Champion of the World, Artur Beterbiev.
Well, he is the most destructive force in world boxing. 20 fights, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. He looks mean, he looks nasty, but he's not. He's actually a pretty nice guy.
He's been in that ring though, a scary, scary guy, you know, frightening power. But it ain't just the power, he's a lot more than that. He's technically very good, his ring gentlemanship, his footwork, his pacing it so well. You know, it's hard to really think of a weakness, you know, the way he took care of Callum Smith, you know, shocked me really, you know, with how easy he did it. I really gave Callum a proper shot in that fight and he just dismantled him. So, yeah, this man's a scary guy.
Artur, we've been waiting a few months for this fight. It was meant to happen back in June. Just first of all, that knee injury, how are you feeling in yourself? Fitter, better than ever?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you. My knee is good too.
Good. Obviously, undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. Have you thought about that at the end of Saturday night, if that is you?
Maybe I'm not thinking about it, but now it's gonna happen. I hope.
How tough of an opponent is the man that was just on stage, Dmitry Bivol?
We'll see. October 12th.
We will see. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Well, that is the Artur Beterbiev special. When it comes to predictions, when it comes to what is going to happen on Saturday night, there's two words that he will always say: we'll see.
And you know what, I do find that quite telling, because Bivol basically said the same thing. They asked for a prediction, and these two are so at peace with what this is, with what boxing is, with what boxing at the highest level is. They don't feel the need to say, I'm going to win and I'm going to do this. They both just said, I don't know. And that's honest, isn't it? They don't know, we don't know.
That is
Nobody
the reality.
knows.
The reality is neither knows. They're both totally confident in their own ability. They would be who they are or where they are. If they weren't, they're the two best light heavyweights in the world, probably two of the best fighters in any weight division in the world, and they're going at it. Only one man can win.
As it's getting closer, are you changing your mind at all on your pick? Like, have you been flip-flopping at all? Like, what are you thinking?
It does change. I wouldn't say it changes on a daily basis, but it does change because they're just so well matched, and you can make a case for either one. And whichever case you make for one, you can counteract it with a convincing argument for the other one, and that's why it is such a fascinating fight.
Well, we are joined by a fascinating character. 20 fights, 20 wins, 20 knockouts, Mr. Artur Beterbiev. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
I see you're dressed in the attire. How important is it for you to be fighting out here in Saudi Arabia?
It's very important. I mean, it's like I'm really happy to be here, to be part of season Riyadh season.
Because you've been out here before. You came out to Fury and Ngannou, Battle of the Baddest. Now you're here as an actual fighter. Now you're actually coming here to fight. You're not nervous, are you, Artur?
No.
Didn't think so. Andy, any questions?
I do have something I'd like to ask you. It is a serious question. You're a God-fearing man. This is a hard business you're in. Have you ever felt sorry for an opponent?
Can you repeat?
Have you ever felt sorry for an opponent?
Sorry, opponents?
Sorry for your opponent.
Sorry, my opponents. Like, after fight, I can say something good, but not before fight.
Dmitry Bivol is asked for predictions, just like you are asked for predictions. Neither of you will give us predictions. Why will you not give us predictions for Saturday, Artur?
I never did that, and I'm just continue. I'm not predictor, I'm a boxer.
You've known Dmitry for many years. Maybe you didn't know him so much when he was younger, but he's always been around. Do you see him as lesser than you?
No, I'm not seeing him less than me, not bigger than me. We'll see him in October 12th.
How happy will you be to be the undisputed light heavyweight champion?
I'm really happy to have an opportunity like this today. Like, I'm really exciting. I'm getting ready.
Can I just ask you about the weight? As an amateur, you were a heavyweight. As a professional, you've stayed at light heavyweight. Is it getting more difficult to make 175 pounds?
Well, it's a long time ago. Even I'm turned to move up for 90 kilo, but I never been 90 kilo. I'm always like 84, 85 kilo, not more. And that's why I go again light heavyweight.
Artur, I'm curious to know, if you were not in this fight and this fight was going on between this wrecking machine, 20 fights, 20 knockouts against brilliant boxer in Bivol, would you watch this fight?
Of course. After fight, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm always watching after my fight, to check something like some mistakes, I'm always do that.
How much of Dmitry Bivol have you been watching?
We watched my coach always when he requests to watch, I'm always watch
What's your favorite Dmitry Bivol fight?
I don't have favorite fights. It's different thing, when you watch see something, some mistakes, some good things for us.
Does he make a lot of mistakes?
Everyone has mistakes.
Why should fans watch this fight on Saturday? Why should the fans tune in on Saturday?
I think it's gonna be a good fight, undisputed. I think they need to don't miss this fight.
Great message. Thank you so much, Artur Beterbiev. Great to see you, as always. The most destructive force in boxing, Artur Beterbiev.
Thank you.
Well, I've tried, Andy.
Dev, that was heroic, frankly. He's a comfortable guy, isn't he? He's comfortable in his own skin. He doesn't really feel the need to give long answers. It's not born out of any kind of arrogance. It's not born out of any kind of shyness. This is just what he does.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it for a really, really long time. He had about 300 amateur fights. He's been at this man and boy, and he's going to keep going at it for a little while longer yet, I think. I don't think there's anything that we could really ask him where all of a sudden he would just open up and give us a long, effusive answer.
Well, I think we're going to get some great answers from Dmitry Bivol. How are you, Dmitry?
Hi, guys. I'm good, thank you.
Great to see you. You asked for a prediction up there. You didn't really give a prediction. Olivia asked Artur for a prediction. He didn't really give prediction either. Why do neither of you give us predictions?
Because we know, only God knows what will happen. We could only be ready, we could only believe, we could work hard, we could believe in our skills, we could dreaming, but we cannot make predictions. I don't want to lie, I cannot make predictions. I don't know who will win, but I know that I will do all my best.
This is amazing. Behind you, if you look at the graphics, the posters, the promo was also amazing. How was it filming that, and when are you leaving boxing for Hollywood?
To be honest, I like that experience. We spent three days in Slovenia to make this film. I had a lot of fun, and it's not easy work as an actor. But it was great experience.
Have you started becoming a bit of a diva, making demands? Hey, you get me coffee, you do this, you do that?
No. I was taking my coffee by myself, or sometimes guys would bring it to me.
We were talking to your promoter, Eddie Hearn, at the start of the show, and he believes that you need to start well. You need to win the early rounds and be ahead at halfway. Is that something you would agree with?
I need to start from what?
You need to win the early rounds.
In my head, I need to win all rounds. I cannot be relaxed and lose some rounds. In my head, I have to win all rounds because I have to be focused any second. With these dangerous fighters who has a great punch, even with everybody, you should be focused in the ring.
And Matt, do you see that as well? This is a case of Dmitry winning every round. That's what he's got to set out to do on Saturday.
Yeah, I think for the danger part of the fight will probably be the second half, because I think the way I see the fight going, I think Beterbiev will try and exert a lot of pressure early doors, make Bivol move a lot, fight at a pace that is faster than he wants to, and try and conserve energy, and then come on in the second half of the fight where he would hope at that point some of the steam has left Dmitry. So that's how I would anticipate the fight playing out from Beterbiev's point of view.
How much Beterbiev have you been watching? How much tape have you been watching? Do you go through all of his fights? Some of his fights? How much do you watch?
I watched a lot. I watched a lot of his fights. All fights are, of course, similar with his pressure. He starts from the early, how you said, he's starting pressure, it's I saw it in most of his fights.
And I guess it's about how do you deal with that pressure? When you're watching those fights, you're thinking, I would do this, I would do this, I would go here. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking about what I could do here in this moment and that moment. Yeah, but finally I could say a lot of different things. But in the ring, you could forget everything. And this is the main part, to make your plan real, you know, not just having plan, to make it in the ring. And this is what we're gonna see on the October 12th. Will work my plan or will work his plan, and this is the interest part, even for me as an athlete, because I'm so curious how is it to be in the ring against this great fighter.
Well, rather you than me. Best of luck to you, Dmitry. Great to see you. Thank you so much. We're going to swap you out. We're going to bring in Fabio Wardley. Big Fabio.
Hello, gang. How are we doing? Everyone all right?
Good, yeah. Good.
Good.
How are you? How's things?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. Missed you on Monday, so you've come out a little bit late. What was...
I was just, busy. Got stuff to do. No, I had some family things I needed to sort. I needed to make sure I was present for. But I'm here. I'm present.
Yeah.
I made it up. I did all my media obligations yesterday. Doing some now with you. I'm going to catch up a bit with some other people later. I'm here. No one panic. The show's going to carry on. It's all good.
No panicking from me. You looked at home on the stage. You're just used to this now, aren't you? Especially a Riyadh fight week. Done it all before. Seen it all before, Fabio.
Yeah. Yes and no, because it seems like, yes, been seen and done it, but they always do it bigger. They do it better. It gets more grandiose. There's more to it. So, yeah, I'm used to it, but every time there's a little bit more where I'm like, oh, okay, they've turned it up a notch. They've turned it up a notch.
Can I have a look at the bridge of your nose? Because there's been quite a lot of chat. There's been quite a lot of chat about the bridge of your nose. I'm not a doctor. How is that, basically?
My nose is perfectly fine. It's just scarring tissue. I've got baby skin. I just bruise like a baby, basically. All it is, the things that need to be, I think the facts that need to be clear about it were that my nose was never broken. My nasal, my breathing or something was never obstructed at all. Immediately after the fight, a day or two later, I had it looked at by a professional plastic surgeon who looked at my nose, who then inserted a bunch of internal stitches to really pull it all together. So ultimately, it's just scarred over. That's all it is. It's the same as if I had a scratch on my arm that's scarred over. It's not any different. And ultimately, who cares? If we're being realistic, who cares?
It is what it is.
If my nose goes again, who cares? I've got a split, it goes down my face a bit, great, no worries. Crack on. Am I going to stop? Am I going to call it off? No, we're going to keep it moving.
No, and it's not going to run into your eyes. It'd be a lot worse if it was a bad cut.
That's the main point. That's the main point, I think. I know it's a big deal when you look at it and look, it's a bit darker. I don't know what camera angle you can see. And it looks like, it hasn't healed at all, it looks really bad, but that's not the case at all. It's perfectly healed, it's had a long time, it's been surgically looked after by a professional surgeon. There's nothing more to be done with it than just try not to get punched in the face as much, basically. That's the only thing left to do.
No, I guess, like you say, you do what you can, and then it is what it is. You can't worry about it now. You're going to get punched in the face. It might open up, but if it does, it does.
Yeah,
You'll
exactly.
deal with it.
And the same thing you said as well. It's not above the eye, so it's not a worry. It's going to dribble down my face. All it's going to do is make for better camera shots for you lot. You're going to clip it all up and say it was a carnage war, the brutality. Look at it all. So that's all it really matters.
That's exactly right. That's
it's not going to be. It's not a big thing. I'll just get it stitched up again and go again.
What's your preference, Fabio? Round 13, continue the war, or round 1, new fight? You set yourself apart, completely different. What's your preference?
What do you think?
You look like someone who fancies a bit of a ruck on Saturday night.
Look, mate, I'm not in the fight game to tickle no one. I'm here for war. I'm here. It's in the name. The proof's in the name. First of all, Wardley. I'm here for a war. I gave you a war first time. And look, and then even in that fight, I think I had a lot of success. Oh, well, actually, I've looked the film back a lot of times over, and I did have a lot of success. So all we need to do is double down in them areas, tweak a few areas where a little bits went wrong and we didn't do so well in a couple of bits, and just follow up like that. As long as we put them two pieces together, I think I'm fine. I think I'll get him out of there.
Do you think, having gone through the experience of a hectic 12-rounder, next time you'll pace it better? You'll know when to step on, when to ease off, nick a rest, that type of thing.
Yeah, massively. I think that's one of the key points. Before that, I'd only ever done 6 rounds. I didn't know what it felt to be in an 8 round. I don't know what it felt like to be in 10th round, 11th. I didn't know what it was like to get up off your stool on the 12th and go, right, I've got 3 minutes here, let's get through this. But
it's actually not bad at that stage. It's when you're in round 6 and you're knackered.
It's when you get to round 7, you ask your corner, you go, how many left? No, surely not. Surely
you're
not.
all right by the time you get to the 12.
Someone's wrong. Someone's got this wrong.
Listen, Fabio, you're pretty adamant. You can do better. You can do more. You've gone away. You've studied the tape. I mean, every broadcaster keeps showing you the fight, so I'm sure you've studied it. How much better do you think he can get?
Some, but limited. I think there's a strong value if you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I think he's boxed the way he has boxed for a number of years. Like he profuses that he is this amateur, not legend, but he's been in the amateur game for so long. Boxed the amateur way, loves amateur boxing to its core. Can he really make them adjustments? I don't know. He's not got any blistering speed. He hasn't got like debilitating power or really fast feet or agility or anything like that. So what real tweaks are you gonna make? He's just got his already makeup, and maybe he can look at the fight and go, okay, I made a few errors here and there, but as a person and as his athletic ability and skills, no, I don't think he can make too many adjustments, if any.
Did you just call Frazer Clarke an old dog?
I have done numerous times. I don't think I did just then. I think I've referred to him being maybe about 42 a couple of times, but I'm a boxer, I get punched in the head, so my maths might be wrong. Who knows? Maybe he's 42, maybe he's not. We don't know.
Final one, Fabio. What is the perfect Saturday night for Fabio Wardley?
The perfect Saturday night for Fabio Wardley is a exciting and entertaining fight for the fans, of course. Fans first. But a big KO, Fabio Wardley win, retain my belts, hand raised, back to the hotel and find some good food to eat.
Brilliant stuff. Great to speak to you, Fabio
always.
Wardley. Looking
Cheers,
the part.
Thank you.